This is day 25 of our European tour, October 2009. We visited the Eagle's Nest. This is a map of our last few days on tour. And here is a map of the Eagle's Nest and the two towns either side of it. We stopped at the museum car park in Obersalzberg and picked up the day tour guide. And while we were there, we had a selfie taken of us, and I took a photograph of Linda overlooking the lake that's close to that particular town.
There are some words about our excursion. With your beautiful bus, we will go to a place called Obersalzberg, Upper Salt Mountain, literally translated, because there are two salt mines going into the mountain. There is one salt mine that goes in from the village of Berchtesgaden, and from the other side of the mountain, where there is Austrian territory, the salt mine goes in from the town or from the village of Hallein. So we go to Obersalzberg, 1000 meters. The ride in those special buses from the Obersalzberg to the Eagle's Nest lasts approximately 20 minutes. And I want to tell you, it does not matter on what side of the bus you sit, because after several tunnels there is a hairpin curve, and then the people who did have the view before will look into the mountain, and the other way around it is. And after 20 minutes in those buses, we have bus number 2, we will arrive at the Eagle's Nest parking lot. And from the Eagle's Nest parking lot, there is a tunnel going into the mountain. We have to walk through the tunnel. When Hitler did go to his house, he could drive into the tunnel. We have to walk. The tunnel is 124 meters, almost 600 feet long. And at the end of the tunnel, we take the original elevator directly into the house. Then I show you the interesting rooms up there, and then also from the outside terrace I want to explain you the view, and then there is also a little bit of free time for you to look around. And in the German language, the Eagle's Nest is called Kehlsteinhaus. So the bus that will take us up, at the display it says Kehlsteinhaus, because the house is situated on top of the Kehlstein mountain. But some of the people who have seen Hitler's house first have been journalists from Great Britain and France. And at home in their newspapers, they wrote articles then where they said, Hitler now owns a house near Berchtesgaden, situated on top of the mountain, like the nest of an eagle. So in the English, in the Italian, in the French language, it's called the Eagle's Nest. And the Eagle's Nest was the official birthday present from the NS party for Hitler's 50th birthday. But the house was finished 1 year before already, in 1938, and therefore above the entrance to the tunnel you will read about constructed 1938. These are the buildings from the salt mine on the right hand side. And the house survived completely undamaged. They also tried to destroy the house in April 1945. They had the first air raids here, but the house was defended. They produced artificial fog and the bombs exploded way underneath. Yeah, just to give you an idea, I can see the house on the right hand side. It's the house with the antenna on the very top of the mountain. Maybe you only 10-12 minutes to get up to the Eagle's Nest, and this was the reason he always preferred to go down again. And from the Berghof and from the other buildings there at Obersalzberg, where until May 1945 some of the most prominent Nazis had their residences, there is not much left over. Because first of all, many of those buildings have been destroyed in April 1945, but then after World War II, when so many people did come to see those places, the American and German government had the fear that the Obersalzberg could develop into a place of pilgrimage. So after World War II, almost all the buildings from the Obersalzberg have been destroyed. Yeah, now in a second we will start our mountain climbing tour. The river on the left hand side, this is Königssee Ache, that's an outlet of Lake Königssee. Lake Königssee is a beautiful alpine lake.
You'll have to excuse these images that they were taken on the small camera up the front of the bus, rather than getting hardly any good images out of the side windows of the bus. There was intermittent fog, and it cleared up and then it fogged over again. And that was like that nearly all the time we're at the Eagle's Nest. So we travelled through a number of tunnels on the way up to the top of the mountain. For those that don't know, a guy called Martin Bormann built this structure on top of the mountain for the 50th birthday of Adolf Hitler in 1937, and it was inaugurated in April 1939. Although the Allies tried to bomb the Eagle's Nest, the Germans had a fog machine that would cover the mountains so they couldn't see what they were bombing, and of course we got some natural fog and intermittent fog while we were there the whole day. And here's a picture of our bus driver for the Trafalgar tour bus. And the Eagle's Nest is built on Kleinstein, 1800 metres high, and it's a sub-peak of the Berchtesgaden mountain range. When we arrived at the car park at the top of the mountain at the Das Kleinstein house, took a few photographs, and here's one of the sheer rock face and Hitler's house on top of it. And of course there was a ticket office beside the tunnel entrance, and we hung around there until things were organised and the tickets were paid for, I presume, and then we were able to see this image of the how to get up to the mountain range. And if you pause this now, you can get a better idea. So here's a couple of images of the tunnel entrance, and this tunnel was 124 metres long, and it led to an elevator which ascended another 124 metres up to the top of the mountain. There was an ante-room just outside the elevator, and you had to hang around there and line up to go up the 124 metres to the top of the mountain. I didn't get any image of the elevator because there was too many people. Today, of course, it's a beer garden and tea room and coffee shop and restaurant, and that was its main focus. We did go into some other rooms around the building. These fireplaces, one of them was given as a gift by Mussolini, the dictator of Italy. We didn't stop for a tea or a coffee or a meal. We didn't have that much time, but they were quite beautifully set out, these little ante-rooms for coffee shops and cafes. And then we went outside, and the fog had come back over the mountain.
Here, David. Yeah. Anybody goes, all good.
Go there.
So if you look to the house, you can see the material the house is made out of. This is granite. Granite is the hardest stone in the Alps, and behind this granite wall there is a brick wall. So the house is isolated very well.
Then we had a bit of a walk around the outside of the building, and as I said before, the fog came in and out on a regular basis, and we walked down these steps, and that was when the sun came out and the fog shone up, and we got some better images of, as you can see, of the buildings outside. The scenery and views are absolutely gorgeous, looking down into the valley, And here are some more images of the stonework of the outside of the building and the mountains in the distance. Then we walked a bit further up. We ran out of time, so we quickly walked up and then walked back to the meeting point. These two people from our tour were not too happy for some reason, I'm not sure why, of the visit to the Hitler's house, or Kleinstein house. I just presumed that they wanted some quiet time. Maybe their relatives were involved in the World War II. There was a little bit of an exhibition of photographs and writings about Hitler's eagle's nest, but then it was time to head back down through the tunnel, back to the bus, and then on to Berchtesgaden, one of the towns close to the eagle's nest. So then we drove another 20 minutes to Berchtesgaden, and the bus driver found a parking spot, and we parked the bus and went for a bit of a walk around the town. It was quite a lovely, impressive little town.
Is buried here.
I should say it was more of a gift shop and tourist area that we stopped and walked around. And we did take some photographs of some of the old houses as well, but I can't find them. But I'll let you just watch this video through. The video was produced by myself, and it's the end of another exciting video of day 25 of our European tour 2009. We visited the Eagle's Nest.